Hi, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Sneaky Geek. And today we are going to be talking about WonderCon. But first, we got to roll that whole theme song thing, so we should do that. And we're good. Okay, so hi, everybody. Welcome to Sneaky Geek. We are talking today about WonderCon 2024, which is the time that we're in here. It's actually 2024. It doesn't feel like 2024. Saying it feels really weird, and I'm not comfortable with that. But anyway, we're here talking about WonderCon, and we are joined by the Bitches of Dathomir.
Yay.
Hello.
Two-thirds of the bitches.
Yeah, two-thirds bitches.
Two-thirds.
Two-thirds bitches.
So let's get some introductions underway. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Hooray.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us. I am Frankie, 1/3 of the Bitches of Dathomir, also known as Frankie Sindula if you've met me in person. And I don't really know what to say about myself. Let's see. Introducing, my favorite Star Wars entity is Rebels. Yeah. And then currently, like the rest of the world, enjoying Bad Batch, even though my heart is being ripped out every single episode.
Dude, right?
I think I'm 2 episodes behind.
Oh,
right now.
yeah, Bryce isn't caught up, so...
I'm midway through that 2-parter with Dr. Emery.
Okay.
Yeah, so we won't super cry right now.
These are the things I need to know.
Yeah.
Real upfront.
It's good. I'm
but
glad
he's caught
to
up
say
on
that
X-Men.
now. I am caught up on X-Men now.
Oh,
I don't know if
I'm
you guys
not.
are watching X-Men.
I've
I'm
only
not
watched
watching
the first
X-Men.
2.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. What other entities are we into other than Star Wars?
Let's see. Wildlife is a big part of my life, and as far as fandoms go, really just all of it.
All
Currently,
fandoms.
I know all fandoms are things that I enjoy. I spend a lot of time just kind of keeping up with pop culture, and that's pretty fun for me.
Cool.
Comes with the podcast territory.
It's true.
And Rachel.
Hello. My name is Rachel. I am the other 1/3 of the Bitches of Dathomir podcast. My name is Reychel of Jakku on Instagram and TikTok. My favorite part of Star Wars, gosh, I don't really have one. I really love all of it. I'm thoroughly enjoying the High Republic novels right now.
Yeah.
Completely obsessed. Mostly our podcast talks about the High Republic, so I feel like I can also talk about the High Republic all day, any day. It's just so great.
So can
And non-Star Wars fandom, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm not a really big Marvel fan, but I watch everything that comes out, all the shows, all the movies. I just don't like binge watch them like over and over again, and like I'm terrible at character names. So luckily one of my friends is a huge Marvel head, so I always ask her for all the information.
Nice. There you go. Okay, well, we should actually talk a little bit about your podcast real quick, since we started by going, we're here with the Bitches of Dathomir, not being like, we're here with Frankie and Rachel. Or it's just, so let's talk about what the Bitches of Dathomir is.
Yeah, how did you guys get that started? What kind of like got all that going?
Well,
Yeah, so we were reading the High Republic and we're completely obsessed with it. Then the 3 of us, Jen is the other 1/3, we're talking about how cool it would be to turn our passion into a podcast. And we were just shooting around different fun names. We all really love sluts. At one point, we were like, Jabba the Sluts was a funny name. And then Bitches of Dathomir popped out, and we all love Dathomir. So that's the name that ended up sticking. And we are a print media podcast. So we talk books, comics, like magazine short stories. And we're currently talking about the High Republic because that's pretty much what's out and what we're passionate about. We are currently addressing phase 3 in our 2nd season and really enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah, listening to your guys' last episode was great.
Oh, thank
Had a
you.
good time. I think it was like keeping you updated, Rachel. Like, this was funny. This was funny. This was cool.
Yeah.
I think I was listening. I had like, 5 or 6 minutes to go, and I was at the gym. And I was on the elliptical, and somebody said something, and then I just started like busting up laughing. And I'm like, well, here we are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Usually when we record, Jen, who's not here, she's our editor, and she messages us the whole way through all the things she has to cut out. Because we will go on for hours about all the silliness.
Same. Yeah. Yeah, editing takes a while.
Yeah, editing is... the worst part about podcasting, in my opinion. But yeah, let's talk about WonderCon this year.
Did y'all go all 3 days?
No.
We just went Saturday and Sunday.
Oh,
Okay. Do you have you guys been to WonderCon before though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this our third year?
Yeah, 3 for 3. Maybe
Nice.
4. No, wait, what year is it? 2021,
Yeah, right.
2, and 3.
Yeah.
1, 2,
yeah.
3. 2, 3, 4, 2022, and through now.
And I mean,
Because we did WonderCon, and then Star Wars Celebration was immediately after.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a real quick turnaround.
Yeah. And then
That was a good year.
we did
Yeah.
it
It
again.
That
was
was a
such
really
a
good
great year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
that was the year we discovered the s'mores.
Yes.
More on
s'mores?
that later.
Oh,
Yeah.
at your...
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yes.
right.
Yes, the s'mores.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, well then, WonderCon was interesting this year for everybody who didn't get to go. It was on Easter weekend, which was not something that happens very often. I mean, it was last
Right.
weekend of March, but, Easter moves all over the place,
Yeah.
and WonderCon apparently is more stable.
Yeah. We didn't realize it was Easter weekend until like a week before.
Yeah.
And we were looking at the
Same.
calendar, and then the family was like, "What are you guys doing for Easter?" And I'm like, "When's Easter?" Like, it's next weekend. We're like, oh, shit.
We shouldn't have done
I'm going to go to a con.
I realized it. Some of my family got mad at me, and I just said, the only person I care about who has risen is Maul. And they got mad at me for that one.
I
I
love it.
love it.
Oh my god.
It didn't go over well, but, I met you all.
Yay.
They should know by now.
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
awesome.
definitely got out of some good family drama,
Oh, good.
Yeah.
which is
So it worked in your
fantastic.
favor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, WonderCon, because my first WonderCon was in San Francisco back when it was up there, and that was long ago. I did not plan on going to WonderCon. I was at a fencing tournament with my college
Say
fencing
more.
group, and so we were up there doing a fencing tournament, and somebody was like, "Oh, Dale is over at WonderCon. We should pop by WonderCon," and I should get it down.
Oh, yeah.
So we go to WonderCon to meet Dale Barry, who
gotcha.
wrote. He writes Tales of the Midnight Cutter, which is like an indie comic, but he also taught all of them how to fence. He taught them all how to fence. So he was like part of that whole crew. And we went there, and then while we were there, I met Peter Mayhew, and I was so excited
Wow.
because he's the first person I've ever met in my life. I mean, one, he's Chewbacca, but also he's the only person in my life I've ever met who had hands significantly larger than mine, because I have really, really big hands. And like we put our hands against each other, and every single all of his last joints like went above my. This is a podcast, and I'm currently demonstrating about an inch past each of my fingers, which are already very long. But his hands all the way around, like he was signing everything with like a mini Sharpie, and it was just like this little thing. And then he set the Sharpie down, and I was like, "That's a full size Sharpie." He's just gigantic.
Wow.
But I had him because I don't know if you guys ever watched In Living Color with Jim Carrey and all that, but he had like this whole bit where he like
I
frames an autographed picture of Chewbacca and accidentally hits his hand after it's been frozen with nitroglycerin and like shatters his hand, and he screams out like the Iceman cometh or whatever. So I was like, I too need a framed autographed picture of Chewbacca.
Yeah.
So this is my
That is so awesome.
yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was nice. So
And you were just there for fencing.
and I was just there for fencing, so I was just like, okay, cool. And then
good
Brian,
weekend.
a few years later, was like, hey, you want to go to WonderCon? I was like, oh yeah. What is it in San Francisco? And he's like, no, it's down here now. And I'm like, okay. And then we went, and it was great, but it was much busier than this year's con.
Right.
And I feel like the last couple of years have been kind of unusual anyway, because we were in this post-pandemic time where people weren't wanting to travel very much, and there were mask regulations in 2022, but there weren't in 2023.
Then we had the strikes, so like
Then we had the strikes, and that was getting in the way. Although we didn't have the strikes last year's
Last year was
WonderCon
there, yeah.
because it started afterwards.
yeah, but things started slowing down.
but
But
things were slowing down.
we definitely felt it this year.
And then this year we have
Oh.
there's nobody's working.
Yeah.
So
and there weren't as many projects shot in the last 6 to 8 months because of last year's strike.
right.
So there weren't as many things to promote. But it was also Easter weekend, so like did people just not book? Or
And it was raining,
Yeah.
which
It was
also I'm sure
raining.
limited a lot of at least like locals from going. Like, I'm not
Oh,
going over
totally.
the con.
Yeah.
Well, I remember talking to my local comic shop, and they were saying that they expected WonderCon to be back to pre-pandemic crowds. And I was really surprised to see that it wasn't that crowded.
That did not
after all.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, once I realized it was going to be rainy and Easter weekend, I was like, that's probably not a great sign. But also, WonderCon was real cagey about who was going to come this year.
But we're spoiled though because we went to SF Fan Expo
Oh, cool.
this past year and they went crazy with their marketing. So I kind of am just like, not everything's going to be like that.
I
And
feel
that was
like-
just in November.
Yeah, I feel like LA Comic Con did something similar back in December, where like it was huge. That was the first one I went to, but everyone I talked to said it was way bigger than it usually is. So
LA?
Yeah,
Oh.
but yeah, I don't know. I hadn't gone before.
But then, like, I think it was 2 years ago, we went to Ontario Comic Con and we talked to Tim Zahn. I talked to Tim Zahn for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, you became besties.
Yeah, we were buds. We
cute.
talked about like all sorts of stuff with like how he makes various creative decisions for Thrawn, mostly about language stuff because I'm a language nerd. But in that whole time, like at one point he offered to pay for something for me so that I would pay him with the card and he would pay with cash because Chris Claremont wasn't accepting cards. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And all of this level of interaction at a con with like a signing typically isn't very common. And now this next Ontario Comic Con coming up, they're like throwing everybody out. Like
Yeah.
there's so many guests being
Yeah, we got
announced
the entire
right now.
cast of Rebels and Clone
I
Wars.
know. Are you going to
Yeah, it's
go?
insane.
I'm hopefully going to go at least Saturday. Sunday, I have a concert in San Diego that I don't want to miss, but I'm like, maybe I'll go for like an hour or two. I'm like, that's way out of the way going to Ontario and then all the way down.
Yeah,
So
that's
Yeah.
a lot.
yeah, so hopefully at least Friday.
Friday,
Sorry,
Saturday.
Saturday. I think it's only a Saturday, Sunday con.
Yeah, I don't know.
When I heard the cast of Rebels was there, I kind of got really sad, but there's no way I
Yeah.
can swing going
Oh,
to
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ontario.
Yeah. I typically work Saturdays, and I can't take off another Saturday. I've taken off too many recently.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, real quick, plug your comic shop. What's your comic shop that you're...
I go to Amazing Comics. They're the best.
I do miss them. They are the best. They're amazing.
Have I
They
been
are.
there?
Are they in Long Beach?
Yeah, they're in Long Beach.
Okay.
I'm going to look them up. That sounds
They
really
have
familiar.
two locations. One in Long Beach and the other one in
Westminster?
Westminster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's why. So I go to the one in Westminster every once in a while.
That one is much smaller, but same folks,
Oh,
same
right
Mm-hmm.
comic pulls, same access.
Oh,
Very cool. Yeah, our
I like the
our
Long Beach
go-to
location
is
better.
the one in Fullerton, the comic book hideout, which
I have been to that one. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Nice.
that one's huge compared to the other one.
It used to be even bigger because I used to go to that one when I was a kid, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like double the size. So it's definitely a lot smaller than what it once was, but still a pretty cool
like
place.
fat.
Most are. Yeah. Fat collectibles, they definitely downsize over the years.
They used to have a full statue of the Hulk or whatever inside. You know?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Who did?
Fat collectibles?
Was it the Hulk? Maybe it was
Who
Iron
bought
Man.
the Hulk?
I don't know. But they had a really big shop up the road here on
Harbor.
Euclid.
Sorry, I was getting
And
mixed up.
yeah, it was huge, and they ended up shutting down. They had one in Huntington Beach too that ended up shutting, but now there's they have their main one in La Habra. But yeah,
Oh, I've
Yeah.
been there.
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, so let's talk about this con. What did you guys want out of this con? What were you guys there for? Like everybody kind of has their must-dos and their this would be cool, or I want to make sure I stop by such and such booth. Like, did you guys have a plan?
I had, well, if I could ever have my shit together and write down
Someday.
what comics I don't have, which
Oh, yeah.
Rachel is very good at writing things down when she needs something to look
that
into.
yeah, I got a
So
whole
it's good
spreadsheet,
shopping comics
notes.
with Rachel because she sometimes remembers the comics that I don't have.
I do. It's true.
So getting comics that I knew I didn't have was pretty important to me because the comic scene where I currently live near Sacramento is just not great.
Oh.
Actually, it's terrible. And other than that, just mostly being back at WonderCon, it's kind of like my feel-good con and just seeing people that
Yeah,
we know. A lot of Long Beach was my home base for 9 years, so just knowing people in that area is just super fun and just connecting and networking.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I think WonderCon's probably one of my favorite cons.
Yeah.
I love the convention center it's at. It's so beautiful.
Oh,
and I think everybody is just so nice and everybody dresses up and it's a great vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, even this year, like, with it being smaller than usual, like, I still had a really good time and everybody else seemed to have a good, even though it was raining too. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go into the con expecting anything just because I already know what to expect from that one. But like, I would go see a panel or two if I wanted to. I really like going to the Her Universe panel where they talk about the fashion show that they have at San Diego Comic-Con. I always enjoy watching Ashley Eckstein talk, and she's just a great
anyways.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Star Wars meetup. Those were the two have-tos.
Yeah, I was so bummed. So we saw the Star Wars meetup, but I didn't get to go over there. But we were meeting up with our friend Mary, and she knows everybody. So we are just kind of palling around with her, and then one of her friends was in the big old photo with you guys. And I didn't realize what time was going on, but I had my Cerveza Cristal shirt that I got. And I'm like, oh, I could have just like walked right in and totally missed opportunity. Yeah.
Oh,
I was bummed I
that
missed
was
that.
fun. The crazy thing about that shoot is that it felt like it was 3 hours long, but it was only like 25 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I looked at the clock afterwards, like the main one. Like they did a bunch of pre-shoots, and then they finally got the big one together.
Yeah.
And it felt like we were sitting, because I was on like the lower level. I was on my knees next to like that, like, you know, when you're kneeling. I was in that row, and like my knees were killing me, but I was just like, we're having fun. We're doing a weird dance. We're Star Wars posing. We're doing whatever. And then when I finally got up, I was like, oh, that felt like we were here for hours.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is that it was a cool photo, and I wish it was in front of the fountain, in front of the
I do too.
convention center, but this we'll have to do for
that
this
rain.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I realized it was going to rain, I was like, there's going to be so many cosplayers inside.
Yeah.
Because they all go to the fountain.
And yet it wasn't crowded. That's what tells you about all the cosplayers were inside, and it still was kind of a comfortable
Yeah, we can
setting,
still walk
which
around.
I guess is not
All
a
right.
complaint.
No, no, it was unexpected for sure, but certainly not something I was upset about. But it does. I get concerned because I know Comic-Con International charges an arm and a leg for their booths, and I know so many people who have booths that, like, I was asking everybody, like, "Hey, did you make table? Did you at least make table?" Yeah. And they're like, "Okay, we made table on Friday. We're okay. We just didn't get as much as we would have liked." And I'm like, "That's okay, as long as you didn't lose money on this."
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to see.
Was Friday more crowded than Saturday?
I don't know. It was pretty light on Friday,
Light on Friday? Okay.
We managed to do the entire show floor on Friday.
which rarely happens.
It took us the whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did it.
But this was a way more social con than I've ever had before. Normally, when I first started going to cons, I was like, show floor, show floor, show floor. And then I decided that walking, for me, about any con is the shuffle, when your feet are just only moving a little bit. This is a podcast I'm indicating with my fingers. And my hips are just killing me at the end of a day. And so being able to take full strides is very important for me. Yeah. But now that I've seen everything on the show floor, like, for the most part, I know there's certain booths that it's like, oh, hey, it's that guy. Oh, it's that guy. We don't buy from him anymore. He's a jerk. You know, things like that. There's a specific video game guy that we love, and there's a specific video game guy we do not love.
Interesting.
And then there's one where it's like, we like your booth and we like your other people, but we won't buy from you specifically because you're difficult. Yeah.
Oh,
but
no.
like you just get, you know these people, especially when you've been doing this for a while. Yeah. But for me, like, I've become much more. I'd like 1 or 2 panels a day, and sometimes it's like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go to the anime room and I'm gonna watch some random ass anime for like an hour just so that I can be off my feet and like not really thinking, which is nice. Sometimes I'll go there and I'll draw, that kind of thing. But this con, I only went to one panel, and it was a showing for, it was the Star Trek Discovery episode, the new episode of their final season.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And there was a Q&A, but I left before it started because I didn't realize there was a Q&A. Like, as I was walking out the door, I hear,
shoot.
"Hey, how was that, everybody?" And I'm like, "Ah, crap, there's somebody talking. Dang it, I could have sat longer."
Yeah,
But-
I think there was only like maybe 2 or 3 panels I really wanted to see this year. Normally there's like maybe 2 or 3 each day, but through the whole weekend. And then I ended up
agree.
not seeing any of them, so I was kind of bummed. So I wanted to watch the Ashley Eckstein one, Her and her husband walked by us at lunch, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was
But
nice.
and I wanted to hit up the Lord of the Rings, the animated movie that's coming out. That the OneRing.net was doing. Yeah, I wanted to go to that one, and I totally
really good.
forgot about it. Yeah, because you guys were telling me about it.
Yeah.
And then,
That one was good.
So normally when we do these recap episodes, we do talk about the panels we saw, which means that we're basically going to defer to you now. What panels did you see? What were they
great.
like? What happened?
Oh yeah, because you guys saw a couple good ones, and then like a couple bad ones, or
We
a
had
bad one.
we had one that was pretty soured, but it was made better because we ran into Vanessa Marshall immediately after.
Oh hell yeah,
So, who is the voice of Harrison Dula?
yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I'll just talk about that. We walked into a...
Give us the tea.
I'm going to, and I'm going to just say the title of it because I guess it is what it is, and there's no way to talk about it without saying the title. So
Yeah.
it was just called the Starship Smackdown, and it looks super interesting. And the point of Starship Smackdown is these self-decided experts will pick out of a hat between Star Trek and Star Wars, and then it'll be a movie, and then they have to talk about which destroyer would beat each other from the movies. And it was like just base knowledge on what the ships are capable of, and what kind of worlds we know they bring down, and like yada yada yada.
That almost sounds like a fun like bar game to do,
It
like
actually-
a trivia night sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yes.
Like
So
Super Fight.
yeah.
Yes. So the mediator was like, we're actually not going to do that because that's a specific to Comic-Con San Diego game. So we're going to change it and just make it about the movies.
Oh.
So the first guy, when it was the first question, he went in hard on like analyzing. Rachel, you can like chime in. He analyzed the heck out of the two ships, and I was like, "Yes, this is interesting. I've never thought about these things." And then he got corrected, and the guy was like, "Whoa, no. He was like, you can take a Comic-Con out of the Starship Smackdown, but you can't take the Starship Smackdown out of you."
Yeah.
And so then they changed it, and it just went super downhill, and it was just a bunch of folks on the stage. Pretty much any movie or production that had a female lead, they just had nothing good to say about it. And we know the game, we know the conversation. It's not new, but it just kind of sucked that that's not what they advertised, and that it happened at a con.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like they could have compared and contrast the two films in a much more, what's the word I want to say? Like, not biased way, where you can say, like, this is like the story arc and things like that. But it was very much like that was not how they were going to have this conversation.
Oh, that sucks.
And I think the biggest bummer, which finally Rachel and I were texting, and our friend was next to us, and he didn't know that we were like, we're leaving. But I told him, like, hey, we're going to go if this gets more uncomfortable. The thing that bummed me out the most is that the moderator's son was in the panel, and he was like maybe 15 years old, and he already was speaking like this. I was just like, dang, it's just another generation of just kind of, I don't want to say narrow-minded, but just that biased, that is just a little mean. So we
Of
kind
the
of just
internet.
we left. It's the internet that you think doesn't happen in real life. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like you never meet those people. That's not true. We do meet them, but
Yeah.
You
But
can
not
exit.
as frequently at cons because
It's
that involves
welcoming.
getting
Right.
outside.
Yeah, most people are pretty welcoming at cons.
Yeah.
That's why we like going.
So I guess we'll just start with that, and it was terrible, and we ended up leaving and wanted to go look at Funkos, and because we went straight to Funkos in the back of the con, Vanessa Marshall was just sitting there, and I don't think we would have seen her if we didn't leave that
that's
panel
awesome.
early. So
Oh yeah,
You're
there's
like, man,
no
these
way.
guys hate female captains. That's for no good reason.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a female captain that everyone loves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is
Yes.
arguably
it
amazing.
was serendipitous, and she was so cool, and we have not met before, but like locked eyes to the point where she like thought she knew me. So
Oh,
it was
cool.
just like a lovely interaction.
Was that while you were in your like Hera?
No, I was in my Path of the Open Hand cosplay.
Oh yeah.
She loved it, but
Yeah.
if you don't know, you have to explain it.
Right.
So
Right.
she was into it, but I had to tell her what it was.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's super nice. I met her once. She came in to do a podcast with one of the Marvel guys. So she comes out. I knew she was coming in. I'm like, oh my God, she's coming in. That's cool. Because she was doing Gamora for the Guardians animated show. But, like, I knew her from Rebels. So we just kind of, like, shot the shit for a little bit. And yeah,
Was this a relatively long interaction, or was it just sort of like a, hey, how's it going? Or did you guys actually get to chat for a little bit?
It was like more than 20 minutes.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was really, really long. I was so shocked by the whole situation, especially because like when we walked up to her and we're like, oh, actually Frankie did. She's like, hi, Vanessa. And she was like, who, me?
I asked her, and she was like looking at me as if there were like 7 Vanessas at the table.
Which Vanessas are you talking about?
There was only one female presenting person anywhere near. So anyway,
Yeah.
awesome.
no, she was.
It was so great. Yeah, we actually talked about our story of going to that weird panel, and it led us to hearing her story about how she was looking for a Hera Syndulla comic, and she was asking about it, and some like rando guy in the background was like, we don't have a Hera comic, and was like being super derogatory and rude about it, and she's like, wanted to say, well, Hera Syndulla is here, and she knows that there's a comic.
Right.
I loved it. It was so great.
Yeah. Yes, but that was one panel that we went to, and it ended super well. So
Yeah.
I won't go back to see those panelists again.
Right.
No.
Good to know. Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Well, now I'm like curious, like what comic was it?
She was on the cover of a not Rebels related comic.
Oh,
So
okay.
she was trying to tell that she was just asking for the Hera variant.
Yeah, for the variant cover. Yeah.
And the guy in the back of the comic shop was just like total sass, like, why would there be a Hera Syndulla comic? And she's like,
Wow.
First of all, that's not what I asked for. Second of all,
Yeah. What a dick.
I know.
Awful.
It's so awful.
Yeah.
But how was the Ashley Eckstein panel?
lovely.
Yeah, the fashion show is really fascinating, and the whole panel just talks about the process on how to apply. And they always invite prior fashion show winners to come on stage and
nice.
talk about their experience so that future applicants can get an idea of what to expect and what to look for. And it's just a nice time when we get a chance to see new designs that are upcoming. They showed off some cool Star Wars outfits, and then I think a couple jackets, a sweater, and then a dress. Oh yeah, they had this really interesting like reversible dress.
Anything with pockets?
There were pockets.
On both sides.
Double pockets.
The second girl is a major Storm fan, and her fashion show winning outfit was Storm Couture. So
Right on.
she put out some
That's
Storm
awesome.
jackets.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I walked away from that panel. You know how, like, when you learn about new hobbies and you're like, yeah, I want to get into that one day. Like, we're all like, we can build a droid. Yeah, with what money?
Yeah, no, that's
I left
totally a
that
thing I could do.
Yeah.
I left that panel and I was like, you know what? That is one thing I know I have zero interest in getting into. But I will love and support from afar, but I do not need to enter a like high stakes fashion show.
Yeah, yeah.
No. And I don't even know if it's like entirely high stakes because Ashley tries to make it as welcoming
that's
to
true.
everyone and how they all work together and it's not cutthroat. But I agree, and I love to make clothes and I like to make costumes and sewing and stuff like that. But even still, for me, like, I don't know, that just seems so stressful.
Right.
The
Yeah.
whole process all the way around. So, no thanks.
Yeah.
I think I'll go to that panel. If I'm at WonderCon, I'll go to that panel every year because it's just like a nice introduction into the San Diego Comic-Con
Yeah.
for the next year.
And I was gonna say it's been cool seeing the way that whole fashion show's like blown up the last 5-6 years. I remember when they first started it, they're like, oh yeah, like Ashley Eckstein started her own thing, and some people were just like writing it off. I'm like, oh, that's cool if that's your thing, whatever. And then like every single year after, it just got bigger and bigger, and they kept having to move rooms to bigger rooms, and then it was from like midday, and now it's like end of the first day. It's just a huge blowout.
Yeah, it feels like
celebration.
it's comparable to the masquerade at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
think
so it's been
it-
cool.
I think it also blew up with everyone and their mother watching Clone Wars over the pandemic
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
and learning who Ashley Eckstein is.
Yeah.
Did you guys do another panel other than that?
We did. Yeah, we did the Torn panel, which is the OneRing.net, and I originally thought it was just going to be on the new and upcoming animated film called The War of the Rohirrim, but it ended
So
up
excited
being...
for that one.
I am so excited for that
Yeah.
one. It's So cool. But they ended up talking about a couple other things too, like a upcoming book that is the collected poems of J.R. Tolkien.
Cool.
Yeah. So apparently these have never been released before, so that will be really great. And then there's also a new video game called Tales of the Shire, which looks super cute.
It's making me want to get a PS5 just to play that game.
Yes. Yeah, I love that you just basically hang out around the Shire and just kind of like wander around. It doesn't seem like a very stressful game, which like most of the games that I play are high stress, like The Last of Us or, you know.
You're like, I'm prepared to not be hurt, please.
Yeah.
Well, they compared it to
I
Animal
want my biggest
Crossing.
problem to be the Sackville Bagginses, not do I murder this dog?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, totally.
They compared it to Animal Crossing in that it's just meant to be like a but like Shire music and fun.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of that like casual, like
It's true.
meditative, almost chill game. I mean, Stardew Valley was huge, obviously, in Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon and all those. And they just dropped Harvest Moon 64 and I think Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo on the Switch Virtual Console. So like there's been this kind of surge of it. And then I don't know about you guys, but every single time I get on any third-party wiki, from Wikipedia to Memory Alpha to any of those, that dang Palia game, which is always being advertised at me
Every time.
and I'm just like I think I even have some rendition of it, and I was like, yeah, this is, I don't even know what, there's like 6 of you. It's really weird. So it'll be nice to have one that's a little bit more, dare I say, high stakes, because it's representing a brand and you don't want the Tolkien estate mad at you, so they have to do it right. Then again, Gollum came out and
Oh
But
my
then
god.
about that.
But then again,
I
Gollum came
know.
out, so they may
I
not
try
want
not to think about that one.
Right?
I don't think I know what that is.
So they made a Gollum game. We talked about it on the podcast when the announcement came, and we were interested, but when the game dropped, it's like
One of the worst games.
early
ever put out,
PS3 graphics, lots of problems with it, and every mission is basically the same, and like the voice acting was questionable. Like every step of the way, there was a quality control person who did not do their job.
So there's a big problem there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm looking at the cover of this. I think I've seen this. I don't have any video game console, and since I left Long Beach, I don't have roommate access to games anymore. So
That's how I play my PS5, which isn't my PS5. It's Brian's.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a video game that once I heard it was going to be really terrible, I didn't even give it the light of day. I was like, no more. But
it dropped. I didn't even know it dropped until like months later. I'm like, whatever happened to that Golem game? And then like I looked it up and just horrible reviews. I'm like, oh, that's why I didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
If it goes on the virtual store for like $2, I might.
Yeah.
Just to be like, I have to know. You know,
well,
I
and then
want to know.
it lowers the expectations because you've paid virtually nothing for it.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
You know what they did say in that panel? They officially announced that Lord of the Rings will never be remade again, and I didn't know that. Did you know that before?
No.
Oh. There's been rumors going around that they want to redo the movies, which is like way too soon.
They can't.
But also,
There's
why?
a huge contract, like the family, the production.
Oh, good.
It will never be remade.
They're perfect. It's fine.
Never
But
is a
when
big
do we
word.
get the Lord of the Rings special edition with extra aliens and
You're right.
ships?
Oh.
Yeah.
Honestly,
You're right.
if they remade it, like, give me some Tom Bombadil and maybe
Yes.
adjust the ghosts at the very end. I can't remember their names.
Oh.
The ghost? Are you talking about the
the
shit?
Cursed.
Yes.
Yeah, the people who didn't answer the call
Under the mountain,
King,
but
the
not from Akatar.
with Green.
Dead Men of Dunharrow. Sleepless Dead.
Dunharrow. I was gonna say Dunedain, and I was like, that's not the word.
It's not the Dunedain. What are the Dunedain?
The Rangers.
Dunharrow?
I think so.
Dunedain. Dunedain is his family line.
Yeah. I didn't
Oh,
think
yes.
there were Dunedain were the Dunharrow. High
Dunharrow?
clifftop overlooking Hold of Dunharrow.
The Dead of Dunharrow,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dead Men.
Refuge
The
of Rohirrim.
Oathbreakers.
So many names.
Ghosts that we
All
want
right.
to edit in the future.
They're Numenorian.
Wait. So why didn't you like those dead Dunharrows?
Because for me, the way they came in at the very end and just sweep everything, it was like, cool. So all you guys had to do was hold them off from getting to the White City. and now everyone's dead. It was very like, Anakin destroyed the station, now all the battle droids are dropping. That's that. Mm-hmm. Like, that, to me, I was like, I would have liked them to come in and actually, like, if they'd come in and just been like, throats, and just killing, that'd be one thing. But instead,
Just a
bubble in
wave.
my throat. Instead, it was just like, here's a wave that's only hurting the bad guys. And to me, I felt like...
You want some close-ups of it?
I want them to turn the tide of battle. I don't want them to just end it.
Be the reason the battle ended. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it seemed like they took a lot of what happened in Return of the King and tried to, like, shorten it because there's just so much that goes on in that book.
Right.
Yeah.
From, like, the end with going back to the Shire. Like, I was really bummed that
part
didn't
too.
happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I have not thought about
The
this
enslaved
in so
hobbits. I wouldn't mind a series that exclusively was like, and here's the enslaved hobbit story. Mm-hmm. Like, that'd be a fun... That'd be a fun, not chill version of the Shire game. Like, let's just...
You have to, like,
deal
go through
with
a
this.
door. If you
What
unlock
if
the
this
door.
game is actually that? You're like, Tales of the Shire starts all cute and happy, and all of a sudden, Saruman pops out.
Fire.
You play as Saruman, and it's actually just a farming simulator, and you're just like, go, do it.
No!
Your hobbit's feet are bleeding. What do? Give them bandages? Tell them to tough it out. Your product yield will go this much.
That's amazing.
Maximize profits.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to, I don't know. Tom Bombadil for me is where the book I had to stop in Fellowship of the Ring. This is, of course, when I was 14 years old. But I was like, I can't, literally the characters are falling asleep. Everyone is falling asleep here. And Nicole always gets on me for this. She has a whole shirt that says, I believe in Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, I love it.
And she's like, but Tom Bombadil's like the god of the forest. And I'm like, yeah, and he's so boring that even the characters can't stay awake. Like, we get it. He's God, JR. Move on.
Yeah, those books are my next...
But he has a fun song.
But he has fun.
He's a fun dude.
I like to party as much as the next guy, but I don't know that I need to tell 3-day-long stories with my weird...
That's why we have a podcast.
Yeah. Tom Bombadil's just a podcaster, and that's why he's so tall. Today we have hobbits on, and we're talking about the leaves.
Yeah.
So, Bilbo. Leaves. What's up with that?
Bilbo just puts the ring on and leaves.
Yeah, right.
Can we pull that clip up? Can we pull that clip up, please?
Yeah, so those books are next on my list of audiobooks because I have the
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis read books. Yeah.
I wanna do
So
that.
I did the Silmarillion first, which was a choice.
You did that without the in hand?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
How did that go?
It was 21 hours, so it took
Oh
me
no,
a-
he
it took me a
did
while.
that with the Andy Serkis version.
Okay.
But still, how did that go?
Yeah.
It was cool as hell. The first book that the first part of the book that he read was the letter from the editor.
That part's great.
It was cool, and it was like, oh, here's the prologue. Here, it's just a letter, but it was an hour and a half chapter. It was great though. It was so good. It was fascinating.
Wow.
I love his letter to his editor that they also include.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis does a voice for J.R.R. Tolkien that is not
my gosh.
his narration voice,
Right.
but it's like a voice explaining why the Silmarillion is like important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just this like 8-page letter he sent to be like, listen,
We need this.
this is important. Here's the whole lore of everything summarized. And it kind of spoils a lot of the book,
a little bit,
but yeah.
If
I
you're
got-
listening, maybe it's good that it's... I feel like that book, I needed it to be in hand.
I kind of wished it would, because there are some times where I'd be driving around, because that's where I'd listen to my audiobooks, and then I'd be, focusing on the road, and then, get back to it. I'm like, wait, what happened? Have to, rewind it a little bit.
Probably the entire series is like that.
Yeah, but I've been so spoiled for so long with Mark Thompson and the Star Wars audiobooks
For
because
real.
it's, there's the sound effects and the music. And then I really wish they would have done that with the Lord of the Rings books with him. It's just him reading, and it's great. but it's just like, oh, I'm just
There's no like
spoiled.
Wookiee sounds in the background or like
Yeah.
Hut laughing.
If I'm the best part is if like in the Star Wars books, if they're in a spaceship and they're going in space and they're just talking, you hear the rumble of the engines.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it's
a
so
little
nice when
rustle
you're
of
driving,
leaves would be
'cause
nice.
You're like, I'm in a spaceship.
It's I love that about the audiobooks in
Yeah.
Star Wars. So I guess
But so I made it through Silmarillion, and it was good. There was a lot. It was dense. It was really good. Went through The Hobbit. I'm like, cool. Okay, I need a break. Let me go back to my Star Wars stuff now. And then there's just been so many Star Wars books coming out lately between the High Republic and I guess the current level of stuff. So like Rise of the Red Blade came out last summer, and then I'm in the middle of the new one, The Living Force. So I'm going through that,
wow.
and yeah, it's been pretty
That's
good.
awesome. How are you liking that book?
It's really good so far. I really like the author because he did a lot of the expanding universe stuff.
Who is it?
John Jackson Miller.
Oh,
But he
John
also-
Jackson Miller did A New Dawn, didn't he?
Yeah, so he also did a New Dawn. So he's written in both,
The
which
Hera-
is really cool.
Kanan book.
Yeah.
That was my very first Star Wars audiobook.
Oh yeah.
Aw.
That was
Yeah.
my intro. I made Mark Thompson sign my copy actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I kept
awesome.
running into him at WonderCon. It was
It
so
was-
weird
was it-
not
was it
seeing
I've
him.
never made Mark
Celebration.
Thompson do anything.
I've never seen Mark Thompson. I'm so jealous.
We see him all the
We
time.
ran into him
What?
like six or seven times in one day. And it got to a point where it's like, dude, we swear we're not following you, man.
Like I'll walk past him in like a booth or something, and I'll be like, a wild Mark Thompson appears, and like he'll turn and be like, hey, and like he knows it's us,
Aw.
and to the point where now, if we would like, well, not now because it's been like a year, but like by the end of the con, if we make eye contact, he's like, that's the
Aw.
super cool.
But
How
Bryce
fun.
also like we were on our way to go.
We were going to California Fish Grill, and we were talking
It was-
about the jizz movement and
Yeah.
all about jizz, and
It's a great walk.
we were walking past, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that was Mark Thompson. Yeah, another Mark Thompson sighting. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of want to stop him and ask him if he'll sign my book, but I don't want to bother him.
I'm like, dude, just go. Like we keep seeing him. We're friends now. Just,
Yeah,
just go.
just go. And like at some point, got a trading card of himself like made, and he like gave it to me early on in the con.
Aw.
He's like, for people who actually recognize who I am, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is great. So I was
Wow.
like, hey, me again. So
But
sorry.
you turned around and ran back.
I did. I had to book it
Yeah.
to get
Like,
back to him.
Like if you don't go now, like you're gonna miss him. You got to run.
You're right. This was Celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was Celebration
Oh,
at
cool.
Anaheim Convention Center.
Yeah.
They blur together because, Anaheim Convention
true.
Center,
Yeah.
spring. So I run back. I talked to him briefly. Like I tried really, I don't like gushing, obviously, when I meet people who, it's their job. And as somebody who also works in the industry, I'm pretty good at not gushing. When I met Steve Bloom, I was like, I have to gush for like 30 seconds. As soon as that's
Aw.
done, we're good. And then we talked for like 20 minutes. But that was at Comic-Con years ago. But with Mark Thompson, I was like, hey, like I know I run into you and we chit chat, in booths or whatever, but like you were actually my very first Star Wars narrator, and it was this book. Would you mind signing this? And we chatted a little bit about his Thrawn. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I did my impression of Thrawn, which I will say is
no.
actually pretty good.
Pretty good.
And but I'm all excited. My voice is all too high now. The line I used was because when Brian got passed over for a promotion like years
that's not
ago at a
funny.
job he hated.
Yeah.
And
It worked out. I ended up working on Mandalorian season 2 because of it. So
Yeah,
it worked out.
It was a very
Okay.
good
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
But I called him. All right, I recorded a speech I wrote because I was in the middle of reading Tim Zahn's first Thrawn book in the current canon. I made a whole speech to Brian about like circumnavigating circumnavigating
Yeah.
the chain of command or something. And so like I called him. I put the theme song from Rebels for Thrawn with like the organ over it, and then I just sent Brian casually this audio clip of like
my
Admiral
God.
Thrawn being like, circumnavigating the chain of command
Oh,
requires
I love it.
forbearance. And
That's right.
as soon as I paused on the requires forbearance, which when I'm not like hyper and excited, my voice is actually considerably lower than this, and I have proper breathing technique. It actually sounds better, I promise. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can do it one more time. I'm excited. Sorry. My heartbeat right now is allegedly 80, which I don't buy it.
Coffee.
Coffee. Circumnavigating the chain of command requires forbearance. Nope, still not
God.
coming out. It's fine. No worries. Anyway,
I can't do
still
anything like
good.
that, so great
No,
job.
I can't either.
but as
That
soon as
is
I
awesome.
stopped on the like requires forbearance, that's like such a Thrawn thing that Mark Thompson does throughout that entire book of pausing before he chooses the right word. And he and all the guys around him started busting up, and I was like, cool, this wasn't weird.
Yeah.
Thanks for not letting it be weird, guys.
Yeah. And then he comes running back like, guys, I got it.
He saw the book. I did my impression, and it wasn't embarrassing at all. No
I
one
love
cringed.
that.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good
Yeah,
day.
it was a good day. That
was a good
that,
one.
that was such a great con. And at that con, we discovered the s'mores at
Yeah.
the Marriott, which is what we do at
Which
the
is
end
where we
of...
met you guys. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
kind
which
of
is where
how
we
we
met.
met. Except not
Yeah.
really, because there was a weird Instagram story.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. All right, we might as well talk about how this
Yeah,
happened. So Brian and I have been, for those of you listening at home, Brian and I have been slowly expanding our Instagram network, what have you, and Brian had made friends with Stax Rebo through, I think, London Celebration, right?
No, I think it was through here.
Was it through WonderCon?
Yeah.
How did you? No, you
No,
you saw
it was
her.
through Celebration.
It was through Celebration
Because we saw her on stage get up and do her dance.
Oh, yeah.
Dressed as Max Rebo.
That's
Sorry,
just as
Stephanie.
Yeah.
So
My bad.
so we were talking, and we were hoping at some point to run into her, and then Brian was like, "I think they're here. I think they're in the lobby, like here with us, like at the cafe, restaurant,
Yeah, because
whatever."
she posted
we
a
were."
picture. I'm like, that's like there.
And
but
it was
from
a
another
picture of
angle.
Frankie
Yeah.
with friggin'
Yeah.
Salacious Crumb like on her head, like this weird Salacious Crumb hat that is like this rubberized plastic thing.
It looks really good.
It's super cool, but it's so like very like it's you can't deny it's you. You can't. There was no way. And so I like walk over just looking, and I see this Salacious Crumb hat, and I'm like, how do I start this introduction?
Well, and I saw you, and Rachel had Salacious Crumb on her head at the moment, and I was Hera, and Rachel was Ray, and
Oh, yeah.
so Rachel had Salacious, and I just saw you stare, and then look at your phone, and then stare, but then you were like, "That's not who's in the picture."
I'm like, maybe I've made a mistake. Wait a minute. How many Salacious Crumb hats are going around this con right now?
With the exact
we have
wall
one?
because none of us had moved.
yeah.
So finally I walk up, and it's the weirdest way to say it, but I just show Frankie the phone, and I'm like, is this you? Have you seen this boy? Anyway, so I show the picture, and she's kind of like, yes? How? What? Yes? Who are you?
Yeah, that was a good night. My favorite
That
part
was so
about that
fun.
was because you all were like, "Oh yeah, we recognized the wall in the background," and I turned around and I was like, "It's just like
It's a fucking wall.
a green wall."
There was a green wall with a U and a Salacious Crumb hat,
That's
which
true,
was
that's
just
true.
3 feet away from you now.
Who else has green walls?
Right? Yeah.
Not I.
No,
So,
that
yeah,
was a
so-
good time.
That was
S'mores.
amazing. Yeah.
And like,
Mind you, I was 100% sober.
Yeah.
same. Like
Same.
I don't think I'd had. Oh, I guess I'd had one
We
drink,
had
but I
one
was
drink by
not.
then. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like, okay, look, this is weird, but like we know each other from the internet. How do I convince you that we aren't like complete strangers?
That was hilarious.
It worked out, but it was by far my least graceful. It was certainly
Yeah.
less graceful than my introduction to Mark Thompson. I'll put it that way.
Well,
I would
to
have
make you
accepted
feel
a-
better,
A Thrawn
I didn't
impression.
hear a thing because it was so loud,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of like, "What is happening?"
Oh
Who is
yeah, I
this
had
man?
the
This
ear
dude?
covers on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the ear
yeah.
covers on. I was listening to Sandy and Stephanie, and I was just like,
Yeah.
Oh, because of your hair.
because I was in my Hera goggles. I couldn't hear anything.
So I just show you a picture of yourself, and you're like,
No,
why?
when you were next to me, I heard you, but when you went across the table, like I think you came back. Like there was
Yeah,
like
'cause
there were a couple interactions.
Yeah, he went because I was back at our other table because we had like there's probably like 8 or 9 of us that were at the other table, and the s'mores finally came after like 30 minutes after we ordered them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And after I ordered them, so I kept having to go back to the bar and be like, "Hey, man, do I need to go back there and help out and just put like graham crackers on a tray?" Like,
Hey man, we all know how this works. It's just a marshmallow.
yeah. Should I cut up the apples too, or I'll help. It's fine.
I've seen the bear. I can do it.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
chef.
I've seen the bear. Corner.
I can make a s'more. Corner.
Cousin, where you at? But yeah, so like I remember Bryce was gone for a little bit, and I kept having to go back and forth, and we were just hanging out. And then he finally came back. He's like, "They were cool as hell." And I'm like, "Wow, you were there for a while." Yeah, it must be.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we were getting ready to leave because we were all getting hungry. We're like, "Oh, we still haven't actually eaten."
Yeah.
And then,
the
but I'm like,
mannequin
"No, like I still want to meet everybody." Cause,
Oh yes, because we had to go to the mannequin restaurant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the conversation I couldn't hear at all. I just kept hearing the word mannequin.
And I was so confused, like, what is a mannequin at this restaurant? Like, why would you go there?
We go there because he treats us well, and he gave us
Good.
free nachos that night.
Yeah, he hooked it up.
I saw that on the socials.
Yeah. That's our favorite.
So
One of our favorite.
That was
spots.
how we
Yeah.
became friends. And then I was like, wait, I gotta get Brian and introduce. Hang on, Brian, come back.
Yeah.
We have to go have another one of these weird conversations. I have to make sure that this first impression is as strange as possible.
I just remembered that I had no words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, my favorite part, other than you just showing me a picture of me, was at the very end, because you had known about the other podcast, and then we were like sitting and talking, and you all were like a minute away from leaving, and someone's like, "Well, do you follow their podcast?" Which is Bitches of Dathomir.
Oh yeah.
Because we like buried the lead on that.
Because we'd been talking about all the cool things you guys do with saving birds and swimming with sharks and
Something
stuff.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like, "Oh yeah, we have a High Republic podcast." We're like, "Oh shit, you do?"
Yeah, because we have just
just
started
started.
ours,
Yeah.
2 months
Yeah.
ago. At that point, it was like a couple weeks old.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, you said that and it was like, oh my God, like, because it's such a niche thing that when we first started, we were like, okay, where are the like main High Republic ones? And we listened to a couple of them. We were like, okay, we know what's already being done. Like, we know that
Yeah.
there's a few out here, what have you. And then when we heard yours, because I think I listened to it, like that Monday. I was on my way to work and I was like,
Yeah.
I have to know. And then I listened and I was like, oh my God, Brian, they're us.
They're basically us. Yeah.
We're so excited. We're so excited. Can we be friends?
Yeah.
I love it.
Also, we did decide that this is a neutral term, but we just say High Republic girlies, and everyone is included in the word girlies.
I dig it.
I would love to be a High Republic girly with you.
You are
Yay.
High Republic girly
Yes.
because Star Wars is for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
And when we went to Celebration last year in London, that's where we met our like international crew of High Republic. And that did you go to any? Did you see any of that when you were there, Brian? The like High
I
Republic
saw-
stuff.
No, and the only thing I saw were just random people in High Republic garb. I was like,
Okay.
hell yeah.
There was a lot of niche Phase 2 things. So
Yeah.
if you weren't on Phase 2, like you had to be in the moment. But there was a
Right.
whole crew of people who just dressed up as basically the Book of Convergence, which was
Oh,
so
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
almost done. I'm 82%.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I understand the scorpion thing now.
Yeah.
Yay!
When I handed that to you, I was like, man, that was really weird, but I'll figure it out.
So he had just like kicked one off and they talked about how one was poison and one was not, and that she was, of the Thylefire scorpion. So like I knew vaguely that it was related, but like
Like the next 2 days you came back, you're like, I totally get it now.
yeah, like I was
Oh.
reading it
He
and
was
I
so
was
close to
like,
that part, yeah.
oh my God, because like within the week, like so many scorpion related things were happening in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I read the book right when it came out, so it's been a little bit, and I'm like, it sounds really familiar, but like I can't quite pinpoint it. And he was so fresh on it, he explained the whole thing. I'm like, oh, that's right, yeah.
And I've already read Path of Deceit, so like I'm very familiar with the Path of the Open
Okay,
Hand and the
okay.
Mother and
Okay.
all that stuff. Because Convergence is so... It's another one of those instances where it's like, here's where this book starts. This is a podcast. I'm overlaying my hands. And here's where this book is.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're
Yeah.
real close and sometimes they're not. And
High Republic loves to do that.
Especially Phase 1.
Phase 1, to a fault.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they dressed up as the book Convergence. So somebody was Axel and somebody was...
Was there an Axel? I don't think there
remember.
was an
Somebody-
Axel.
I-
no, there was No, Fontu.
But Axel's
He-
so
and he
great.
was-
Yeah.
I know he is. I
There
love
wasn't
him.
an Axel. No, there was. It was Fantu or Fantu, and he was
And,
under all the
Ziri.
scorpions and Ziri. It was very
I
cute.
missed that. I
So
definitely
she
saw
gave
Mother.
that person gave
Wildfire
everyone's.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that cosplayer gave scorpions to everyone, and
Oh,
I actually
that's
hadn't
cool.
put on that outfit since Celebration last year, so I found the scorpion in my pocket.
Aw.
Wait a minute. So that's a scorpion from a Fontu Zen?
Uh-huh.
You regifted
That's
it.
It
Gift
was
freely
kindness
given.
because you excited me.
Gifts
into reading
freely
the book.
given. I'm so
Yeah.
honestly, I feel I actually love it even more now.
Oh.
My international
Yes.
scorpion,
Scorpion.
Yeah.
Thiofire scorpion. It's
Yeah.
sitting. It's right behind Brian. It's
Oh, is
on.
it?
It's on the desk right there. It's
Oh,
in the little wooden
yay.
thing there. It's in the wooden piece of wood.
Oh, up top.
I believe.
I'm like, let me pull my. No, it's wireless.
I might even find that photo too.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Anyway, she was just handing them out, or the Fontu.
Yeah.
I want to
cosplayers
be
handing them out.
Axel Greylark. That sounds like a blast.
Right? You pulled it off. Easy.
There is a line in. This is such a tangent, but I have wanted to tell somebody about it. I almost messaged you online actually when it happened.
You can always message.
Yeah.
But there was a line where the ship is going down and he's like, I'm a good pilot, but I'm not that good. And Fontu Zen is like, well, look at you. You finally learned a little bit of humility. And he goes, oh, and my inappropriate sense of humor has finally rubbed off on you as well.
Oh, you
So
have
good.
so much to read.
And then, and then like 3 days later, after laughing hysterically and being like, that's it. Axel Greylark's the best. It's like, oh, Axel Greylark talking to the mother. And I'm like, why would you do this to me, Axel?
Our chaos.
Why chaos? Why?
Yeah.
Big time.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he just took the stinger to the chest. And I was falling asleep listening to it, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh, 4 chapters have passed. I really need to go backwards.
Whoops.
Oh, no.
Oopsies. But I'm like right there
here's-
at the end.
Here's that cosplayer.
Oh wow.
Oh, sick.
I totally missed it.
How did you find
Oh,
that
they're so
fast?
huge.
Yeah.
They're massive, and then the two of them together.
You didn't tell me
Cute.
they're as big as my face.
Oh, that's cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
She's just the mound of scorpions.
Yeah.
Is she Ziri?
Ziri and then Fontu, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Ziri's wedding dress is supposed to be like a reddish color.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was a fanfic drawing, right? And then they created the fanfic drawing.
That's
Oh,
so
that's cool.
cool.
Yeah. Man.
I love
Yeah,
that
I definitely
stuff.
saw some High Republic people walking around, and then definitely for the panel, I was in there for that. That was
When
freaking
they were
great.
so shocked how many people were in the room.
Yeah,
That
I mean it was
such
packed.
a good feeling.
Yeah, it was so rad. Yeah,
I went to the High Republic panel at Celebration. They had
Anaheim, yeah.
In Anaheim.
Anaheim.
Yeah, in Anaheim. And this is a WonderCon podcast, in case anybody was losing track at home. But there was a Geode
I bought High
cosplay.
Republic. Stop! In 2022?
2.
Yeah. They
And it
like,
wasn't Han in Carbonite?
No, it was a giant
It was yeah.
geode like board that they had handles on, and these two guys just shuffled it around.
It was so
And
good.
Claudia Gray was losing her mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I
was
didn't
so
know
good.
that. I don't remember that.
Oh,
I
it was
love
so
Geo.
good.
That
And
is awesome.
I didn't know any, like, I had only read the first couple of comics at that point.
Yeah.
And then they're like, let's throw the splash page up. And spoilers for everybody who's listening to our other podcast and isn't fully caught up. There's just the Starlight Beacon on fire.
God.
Oh no.
And I'm like, and then they
Spoilers.
like show the nameless, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this is, but I absolutely am down to read now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, this is one of those rare times that I actually really benefited
Oh
from
yeah,
the spoilers.
because it had
but-
come out January 2021, and in 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I
Yeah.
started. Rachel, you started pretty much when the book came out, but I read Light of the
I
Jedi
think-
in June 2021.
Yeah, I read the book when it first came out, and then but the comics came out around the same time too.
Yeah.
So I was doing
within
both
like the
at
first
the same time.
week or two. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been in since the beginning too.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the comic when it came out, and then I was
Okay.
like, cool. I know what this era is about, but there's a
Cool,
book.
Drengir.
I guess I'll read the book. Yeah. Like, I mean, at that point, it was like, cool. Opening ceremony.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
it's still the first issue.
Trandoshan Jedi. Neato.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I know that first comic is like so calm in comparison
Compared
to everything else.
It's like
Yeah.
Jedi Knight Trials.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
Like, okay.
Oh,
High
look,
Republic.
Yoda's here. He has not changed.
Yeah.
You can just cut this whole segment and just put it in the other
I was
podcast.
thinking that, like, we just, bonus episode.
Anyway, back to WonderCon. You guys cosplayed
guess.
at WonderCon, and neither Brian and I have. I mean, I've cosplayed like once or twice. I cosplayed in the early 2000s at Anime Expo, and I cosplayed with Nicole
Yeah.
one day. No, I wasn't
it
able
just
to
Nicole?
because it ended up being just Nicole. I couldn't because I was no way I was going to wear Wirt's cloak at San Diego.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not putting this fleece blanket on me in 90-degree weather. I can't.
That
I'm
was
sorry.
hot that weekend.
It was a really hot year. It was just before we started having, flood California instead. That was back during dry California. So what was, I mean, we've had cosplayers on before, but like what was cosplaying like this year given the weather and given the population? Because I feel like part of the reason that cosplaying is kind of daunting for me is how often you get stopped.
Oh.
And I feel like that happens more when there's more people, but maybe it happens less when there's more people.
Part.
It depends on what I'm there for, but like
And it depends on the cosplay. Rey doesn't get much love. I will admit that. Like, it's very rare that someone will come up to me. And if they do, there tend to be like little girls or other other
awesome.
cosplayers. I know. I love the little girls. They're so cute. There's this one that I see every year at WonderCon, and it's just magical.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the other ones that stop me tend to be the Kylo Ren cosplayers.
Makes sense. Yeah.
The first year I did Hera was... When was that? That must have been WonderCon 2022 or Celebration. Pick one. I don't know. Same 3-week period.
Yeah, right.
Spring
Yeah,
Con.
yeah.
I think it was Celebration.
Celebration. People looked at me and they were like, "Oh." But then once they figured out that I was like a Disney bound of Hera, then they were like, "Holy cow, you've changed the game for like the Hera cosplay." Because there was either like your full Twi'lek and you've got the cool Leiku, you've got the whole
green
flight suit.
skin.
Yeah. Or there was like just the nice touch. And then I started seeing more and more of the Hera bound, but that timeline came out as Hera became Hera in live action. I've noticed way more Hera bounding.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It could also be that more people are watching Rebels because of the live action and are now knowing who Hera
Well, yeah,
is.
when you tell everybody, "Hey, watch this new show," and it's secretly season 5.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, wait, there's 4 more of this? I can get Chopper every episode?"
Hell
Yes.
Yes. So that's always fun. And I get a lot of compliments because people they're intimidated by going full Twi'lek. So that's always really nice. What's funny is that I don't even super love that outfit, but I have fun in it.
Nice. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And then Rachel, you only went one outfit this year.
Yeah, one
And
out this year.
I went Path of the Open Hand, kind of the niche Phase 2 High Republic.
Right.
Just a cult member. I wasn't even anyone in particular.
Still worked really well.
Rachel and I did that for Celebration last year, where we met all of the folks who played anyone from the Path, like the mother, Marta, Yana, a couple other people. But we just heckled in the entire Great Hall of Celebration.
Hell yeah.
We were just, the Force will be free. And people just either gave us nasty anyone who was nice to us or said nice things, they got a gift from us.
Yeah.
Gifts freely given. But other people, they were like, "What con are you here for?"
Yeah.
I'm
I'm still bummed I missed you guys. Or I missed a lot of the High Republic people. I definitely saw them walking around, but I wasn't there for the meetup. Or I think we just walked by to get food as the meetup was finishing up, and I was like, "Damn it!"
So the meetup was actually at the same time as the Clone Wars anniversary panel.
Yeah, you know what? That's what it was. We had a party to go to, and we wanted to go to the Clone Wars panel. We saw people starting to gather, and was like, we got to go.
Got it.
Because that was a
that's
later
too bad.
panel. Yeah. It was either that and at the last, I've been to 3 celebrations now, and each one I've gotten a tattoo. So I was like,
cool.
I must have missed a few things while I was on the table. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a great picture of all of our Celebration crew being like, "Hey!"
Oh, yeah.
And Brian's like on his stomach, on the table, being
I was getting my Grogu on my calf, so I was like on my stomach, and hey guys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
anyway,
we didn't see a lot of. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say back to WonderCon. Sorry.
Yeah.
I keep bringing it back Celebration. Anyway, I was solo colting around the convention that day.
Nice.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of High Republic in general because we were both on the lookout. Like, hey, if you see any High Republic, take some pictures so we can put it on our Starlight Archive podcast
We saw
page.
one.
We saw Tabor.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only person we saw was Tabor, and I thought we might be able to get a little bit more, but every other Jedi was in prequel or
I had a
Skywalker
friend
era.
who was the master from Young Jedi Adventures.
what?
Oh.
That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
What's her name? Master Zia?
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Wasn't there a Bell Zettifar?
Was there?
I didn't see
I
it,
think
though.
there was a Bel Zettifar, but he might have been a Kai,
Oh.
because Bel Zettifar and Kai are
Oh.
relatively similar.
And
I
then
can't remember. It's a blur.
is it Liz or Lise?
Liz?
Liz? I can't
Yeah, I
remember
think it's
pronounce
Liz,
her
yeah.
name. I think I saw Liz too.
I've only seen like half the episodes.
Okay.
We watched
fair.
the second half because that's when it starts getting really like tied
They go
in.
to the Starlight Beacon on the last episode.
Yeah, it's
That
so
was cool.
good.
Yeah. And then Kevin Scott wrote the one with Belle and Ember and Estella Maru shows up. So badass.
I know. It made me cry.
Yeah, Stella Mara.
Like, I know what
Stella Mara
happens.
would be in
I
there.
know.
Oh, God. Yeah, I guess there wasn't a lot this time around.
My niece loves Spidey and His Amazing Friends, which is very much the same animation style kind of thing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when I go visit her, I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna watch Star Wars."
I'll do that with my nephews. Yeah.
And I'm like, "I know
Yes.
you'll
Same,
like it because
literally
it's
same.
just like Spider-Man."
Yeah.
And does she?
Yeah. She
Okay.
she hasn't watched it as far as I know without me, but like her avatar on our Disney Plus account is Spider-Man right now, so she's
You got to switch
She's
that to
pretty
Nubs
hardcore.
stat.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
gotta love Nubs. Speaking of Nubs, I'm excited for the free comic book day coming out because it's Nubs in court
Yes.
on the cover.
Is it?
So great.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah, yeah.
behind. When is that?
I
May
love
something?
court.
It's
June
May
something?
4th.
Free
So that's gonna be
comic
that's
day
gonna be
is
a
May
day.
4th?
Yeah, free comic book day is May 4th.
this year it's May 4th. It happens every couple of
Oh.
years that free. It's the first weekend of May.
So that's gonna be a busy day.
Yeah.
Let's go to the hideout.
Okay,
Get our
I gotta
stuff.
figure
Come
that
back
out.
and
I might be able to pick you up a copy. I think I can.
Okay.
we could. Yeah.
I got
Stressed
I'll
out. There's
do
no
what I
comic
can.
stores up here.
We're,
to go to
we're
San
good friends
Francisco.
in the comic book shop we go to. Comic book hideout in Fullerton. That's our crew.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Speaking of, I got to
I
go
didn't
record
know
a
that.
promo with them this week.
Yeah.
I do like a lot of their video content, and I'm gonna have to start doing a lot more of it soon because their current video guy is in film school and he's coming up on finals and stuff. So he's getting busier and busier, which means I get more opportunities to hang out and work
Yay.
there.
Yeah.
But okay, we've covered cosplay, we've covered
Yeah. I got one.
panels.
Did you guys pick up any merch or buy anything while you're over there? Any cool figures or?
Yes.
Tell us.
or yeah.
Tell us.
I got not a lot, but I got my first Funko Pop, which is of
Okay.
Maz Kanata. I think Funko Pops are incredibly creepy.
I've never been super into them. I have a decent amount. I have a good amount, but like I never run out to get them because I'm like the beady eyes are weird to me.
Yes.
My general rule is if it's not a human
Yeah.
or if it's wearing a mask. So like I have Bo-Katan and Mando and
My
Boba
people.
Fett.
Yeah.
People.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah.
But I also have almost every Ahsoka pop
Oh.
Oh, wow.
See?
because
No.
when Ashley Eckstein was first starting her universe, she went by the her universe booth and signed like every single Ahsoka pop, and they were going for like $20.
Wow.
And $20 for a pop at all is like usually a decent amount if it's like
Yeah.
rare or whatever. But like with a signature, I was like, yeah, I'll grab that. And then somewhere along the line, I saw another one, and I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And now there's like 7 of them that they're just in my little stack of Funko
Oh yeah, you
Pops.
can kind of see mine. Mine are all above Bryce in that bookshelf right there. Most of them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
but
up there. Next to Steve Bloom's signature, which is also Frank.
Yeah.
That's all I bought at WonderCon. Did you
Yeah.
buy any things? Would you all
Yeah.
get?
So
Yeah.
I always end up getting comics, and I'm almost done with my expanded universe comic collection. There's a few things I was missing from the Tales of the Jedi, so I found a whole bunch of those. Paid a little more money than I wanted to, but like they had it, and it like completed my collection. So I'm like, I'll treat myself. It's fine. And in the
Sweet.
last couple of cons, we've been getting a lot of just prints. I've been getting a lot of prints. So I got a really cool X-Men print. Still looking for a fancy frame for that one, but I also got a Bad Batch one. Yeah.
Brian, tilt your head to the left.
My left? Oh, yeah.
That is concept art of a Dilophosaurus in the gaudiest frame you could possibly imagine.
Let's see if I can get rid of that.
I don't know what I'm looking at. Oh, I see it now.
It's
Cool.
I went to Goodwill and found like the most absurd frame I could find, and then I put it in there.
What? I love it.
Wow.
That is so fantastic.
You know what? I don't pay any money for frames. I don't care what they look like.
Yeah.
It depends on the print for me. I have a couple prints that I will put nice frames in, but for the rest of like my more common, like just going to any of these cons, I'll just put them in regular prints, like or frames, no big deal.
Yeah. That's been my big project this last week. Is like I went to Michael's and I've had a couple of them just sitting in my room, just out. I'm like, no, I need to get these framed and like put up. So I went to Michael's the other day and like bought some frames, but they're the crappy ones. So the 13 by 18 prints or the frames are actually 12 by 17 and change. So like they don't fit. So I had to go take them all back yesterday, and I found a few more that hopefully work. But yeah, so it's been a journey this week.
A lot of the artists in Artist Alley of cons tend to create their prints in very odd dimensions that you can't just get a standard print and put it in.
Yeah.
So it really sucks.
Yeah, we got some really cool ones, and he was there at WonderCon. We got a bunch of his stuff at Comic-Con the last couple years, but his prints are like 13 by 16 or 19, something weird.
And those long, skinny frames cost a lot.
Yeah.
They do.
Because you almost have to get them custom made every time.
Right.
Yeah, I have a really nice Last of Us poster that's signed, and it's like $120 frame.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, eventually this will not be in this drawer, but for now, this will just sit here and hopefully doesn't get touched.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like that Dilophosaurus print actually goes beyond the dimensions of that, but because it mostly fits in there, I was like, yeah, okay, that'll do. Yeah. It's still in its plastic sleeve inside that frame.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Looks good.
But
it works.
Anyway,
Yes.
Rachel, did you get anything?
Yeah, I got a variant edition of Star Wars High Republic issue 1 from Phase 3. It's the one with the Nameless standing over Kyiv, and she looks terrified, and it's wonderful. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And then I also got the Star Wars Omnibus by Jason Aaron. And
yeah,
the 2015. I have been so, like, I haven't gotten into Star Wars comics until recently with, like, High Republic, so I'm very far behind with the main Star Wars line, Darth Vader, etc. And so I've been looking to try and get into it. So I saw this omnibus at WonderCon, and I was like, this is it. So, yeah.
That's what's good
I'm
about
very
those.
excited.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Was that at the Amazing Comics table? Aren't
No.
they like main omnibus?
How funny would that have been?
No, because every time I ask them about if they're going to be at WonderCon, they say that they will, but they're mostly selling hats for whatever
there's a
reason.
hat.
And like a couple
I think
other
our friend
things.
Kayla got a couple hats from there. Yeah.
Amazing Comics?
Yeah.
Oh,
At their
okay.
booth.
They have like
Yeah.
a huge weird hat stand, but you
Yeah,
wouldn't
she
know
was
they
super.
were
She's like, I
Amazing
need to get
Comics.
some hats. So we're like, okay, cool. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bryce, what'd you get over there?
No Funko
sorry.
Pops for me this year.
Yeah.
I came close, but I did not buy any Funko Pops.
Yeah, you did look at a couple of them.
I did. Well, there was a couple of Ahsoka ones that I didn't have already, and I was like, do I need this right now? Probably not. I'm not desperate to fill up that box right now, and I don't even have them on display right now. They're just safe in a box. What I really need are Funko Pop box protectors. That's what I should have bought. But I did. Brian was like, hey, I found a booth that's selling High Republic comics for like $1. And so I bought them all out. I just went through, I found every single one. I was like, cool.
Yeah. That was Sunday. So I bought a few on Friday that I found, actually. A couple of variants, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then I told him about it.
I got the second printing of the Halcyon Legacy book too.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
awesome.
It's got Burry on the cover.
It's Buryaga but
Yeah,
it was the
I have
black
that.
background instead of the white background.
Looks better than the white background.
So I don't know. I like them both. We have a weird, I don't want to call it a love-hate relationship, but there's definitely a lot of jokes made at the expense of the Halcyon cruise.
Yeah.
And just like that whole decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so for me, there's like a special place because we used to, for a long time, our friend Reed, who has been on our WonderCon episode a couple of times, Reed and I would say we'd like find something and be like, oh man, that's crazy, because if you bought 400 of those, it would be the same cost as the Halcyon cruise.
Yeah, a weekend at the Halcyon Cruise.
God.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You know what? I am manifesting that whole experience just comes to LA. There's space for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, just pick one of the millions of empty buildings in Los Angeles and just put it in there.
there is space on the Disney lot for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
that
you
would
know
be
what?
so cool.
That's what I'm manifesting.
Yeah.
If they had made it something that could be moved, I think that would have added to that gimmick in such an interesting way too.
Like it
Because-
travels
That's
from
true.
place to place, and you, as the Halcyon is traveling through space.
Yeah, so it's like, oh yeah, we're replicating because they have that room that replicates the nearby planets, like fauna and
Atmosphere and
flora,
stuff, yeah.
and it's just an outdoor garden
Smoking
space
area kind of thing.
Yeah, but it'd be cool because in Florida you're gonna get something different than you might get in like California, or if you did it in, I don't know, Chicago or Tokyo or whatever.
Arizona.
Yeah. Like, it'd be cool to have done that, but the cost of moving it would be so much. But it would also kind of be justified by the cost to go there instead
Ridiculous
of,
cost.
It's true.
Yeah.
But yeah. So,
Did either of you go?
No.
no.
No. Okay.
And then at the time I was working for Disney, and I thought they'd like, oh, maybe I'll get a discount. Nope.
No, they wouldn't discount
What?
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and then even when they cut the price, it was still crazy expensive. So we were like, no.
Unfortunately, yeah, the people that were going were still paying that price. So
Yeah. And a
Or
lot
they
of people
weren't
that-
because they were influencers who were being asked to go.
that's a good point.
So they got it for free. Yeah.
Those bitches.
Right? Yeah. Must be fucking nice.
So I did get one book that I've been searching for literally years.
God.
I have the Dark Horse Clone Wars trades.
yeah.
And there's
Okay.
9 of them. And I finally found book 7 like 8 months ago. I found book 5, and it was like book 5, book 7, and book 8. And book 5 and book 8 were between $5 and $10. And book 7 they wanted $80 for.
It's called Book Off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
we go all the time.
Yeah,
They're great. But,
I have a rule that I don't go to Book Off more than once a month because that would be very dangerous.
yeah.
But I was at Book Off and it was $80, and I was like, I know I'll find this for cheaper. And a booth had it at WonderCon this year for $25, and I was like, I
Steal.
still don't know why this is so expensive. It's
Is
just
there
a
like
trade paperback,
first
It might
Is
be
there
a
like a
first
first
appearance or somebody.
appearance
I
in
don't
that?
know.
but it's a trade.
Yeah.
So it's not
crazy.
their
Maybe
first
they only
appearance.
made like a couple thousand or something.
Yeah, for whatever reason. I mean, in that particular trade has a great cover of Anakin and Obi-Wan, but that trade, I got it. It was $25. The collection is now complete.
Gosh,
Yay.
I'm
congrats.
very excited.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it was the same booth that I got a lot of my comics at that finished my collection. So, like, I made friends with
Yeah,
the
because he
booth.
texted me and he's like, "Hey, just so you know,
This is the one you're missing, right?
Is this the one you're missing?" And I'm like, "No, I'm missing 7." And then I, type in Clone Wars in my phone and I look at my pictures and I'm like, "No, that's the one. That's the one. Quick, tell me where it is.
Yeah.
Help me."
My comic series that I am on the hunt for, which are extremely rare, is the Kanan series.
Yes.
And I have been very, very slowly collecting them all. I
Yeah.
think I have 5 or 6 out of the 13.
Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think
thought
I'm
you had
missing
more than
like
that.
5 or
6
6
or 7
yeah.
out of. See, Rachel keeps track of my
Rachel's like, "Not
comics.
according to my spreadsheet."
Honestly, it's because she's very kind and she'll pick it up for me if she sees it. So she's
Yeah,
for me,
oh.
like I have to go. Like I'm just not as good as you, Rachel. I'm sorry.
That's what
have
Brian
s-
is for me. Brian will
I have
message me.
6
He'll
or
be like, "You're looking
7
for
of
New
them."
Warriors, right?"
Yeah.
Rachel probably has a whole thing on her phone that's just like shit Frankie needs.
Yeah, yeah.
I might actually
I had a
do.
part on my list for Bryce too, yeah.
Because like he would go to a shop and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm at a shop in Colorado. What are you looking for?" And I'd be like, "I still need this issue of Lois Lane and these issues of the New Warriors.
That's impressive.
And
because
this and this."
I would just say, I don't know. And she'll go, I think you need this. I'm like, okay. You were right.
A lot of it is mental because I don't have it actually written on my phone. So
Thanks for
Wow,
putting that in
nice.
your mind for me.
That's
Yeah, thanks for saving space, holding space for
Yeah.
Frankie's missing
I
comics.
think I might need an updated list because I totally thought you had all the Kanan comics. So now I have to like add that to my brain.
Well, let's just
Okay.
let me reset and make sure.
Right.
I don't. Okay, I need to stop talking because now I don't know. They're right behind me.
She's trying so hard not to get up and look.
Oh God, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. But anyway, I did not see any of the Kanan comics that I think I might possibly potentially need.
I also looked because I'm missing a few there, and didn't find any either.
But now we know. So if
Yeah.
we run into any, we'll
They're just so
we'll shoot you a message.
expensive.
They are,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Some of them go for
expensive.
like 140, and I'm like,
Yeah.
because they did not make.
No, they didn't.
Did you at
Many
least get it in
copies.
trade so that you could read it all?
No. So this
Oh.
all started because I got the second one.
I think so. Yeah.
There's two of them, yeah.
There's two.
That
I got
many
the
issues.
second
There's
one,
probably two
Omnibus.
trades. Yeah.
and I had been searching for the first one for like 2 years, and then finally I asked our comic shop. I was like, "Do you think you'll ever get this?" And he was like, "No, that book is like so hard to find." And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
"Shit,"
if I
and
ever
that's
find
when my
them.
real hunt
No,
started.
you know what? I did see a Kanan book at the book off in Garden Grove last month when I was there.
The second one is all over. The first one,
Oh, yeah.
For the
Yeah,
trade.
the second one is like super cheap, but the first one is very, very expensive.
Interesting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Yeah,
So,
well, if we see them, I'll pick them
I
up.
should have gate kept that a little bit until I finished my collection and then told
Oh,
you
we'll
all.
cut all this. Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
No, it's good.
I'm not
Yeah.
actively collecting anything, so we're good. I'm not good.
Yeah.
at remembering.
Actually, speaking of our good buddy Reed, there's a booth that had a bunch of Ralph McQuarrie concept art, but it also had film strips from the movie of where the scenes came from, or where they ended up being. And one of our big inside jokes with our buddy Reed and our buddy Nick.
This is the same person who we laugh about the Halcyon Cruise price
Yeah.
with,
Got it.
and ask everybody when's that next Gaia album dropping.
Yeah. It's going to be fire. Whatever. But we love the Sheev Squad, we call them, but it's the dudes and like the penis hats that are walking down the
Okay.
ramp in Return of the Jedi. And
There's only one penis hat.
Oh no.
oh yeah, the
The rest
just
of
kinda
them
weird.
are.
They're weird looking hats.
I don't know.
I don't think
They're
I
like
remember
conch
this.
shells.
Oh man.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'll
So
pull
Okay,
up the
okay.
Sheev Squad for
yeah,
you. Don't
so
you
basically
worry.
like they walk down with the Emperor in the movie and
They're the Imperial dignitaries.
yeah, the Imperial dignitaries.
Ooh.
I don't know how this happened, but we're just like, look, remember these guys? They're hilarious. Well, then you see them in the movie for maybe 5 seconds, and then that's it for the rest of the movie. But they have these like promo pictures they've taken. I mean, do it for everything, but it
For
looks,
the DK Visual Dictionary.
yeah, but it looks like they're about to drop the most badass rap album of like '83, and
Sheev Squad ain't nothing to fuck with.
yeah, is that the picture you're pulling up?
I'm trying to. Yeah. I gotta
Yeah.
I
find
love
it.
it.
So that's been like our weird inside joke with our group. So I walk by this booth and look at all these concept arts, and Ralph McQuarrie is just amazing anyways, but I saw this one, and it's of the Emperor and the Imperial dignitaries, and I'm like, I have to have it. And so I saw it on Friday, and like, I'll come back. So I saw it early on. I'm like, I don't want to carry this around and get it all messed up. Like,
Right.
I'll come back. Saturday at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, do you guys still have that? He's like, we have one left. I was like, oh, thank God. So I picked that one up. So I was
Yay.
very happy about that one.
You got that at this WonderCon?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good. Wow, we stayed on topic for the same convention. The
Yeah.
whole combo. Let's go.
Oh, did you find it?
Oh yeah. No, I'll get these boys in here just a minute.
Yeah. So the Sheev Squad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
see this dude on the right though? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
this guy lost a bet with the rest of the dignitaries.
Yeah.
I
But
want to know what's
hottest
under
album
there.
of '83.
Like, is that his head or his hair?
I don't know.
Or
What
is
did
there
you
just
say?
like fabric?
That's foam. That's like foam, right?
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
styrofoam.
I keep making jokes that like if like we're gonna make all these hats and like do a full bar crawl wearing these things.
Yeah.
Please do.
But like at Comic-Con, there was a guy dressed as one of them.
That's right.
And all three of us at different points
Yeah.
ran into him and were like, oh my God, this
shit."
is amazing. Like, it was like he only was there to cosplay for our benefit. Like, we're the only
Yeah.
ones who were going to be so excited about him.
Yeah.
But,
And we
like,
were.
we all treated him like he was this celebrity. Like, oh, snap.
Oh, shit, did you guys see him?
Did you guys see the guy? Did you guys see the guy? And it was like, yeah, I did. Here's a picture of us. And he was like, yeah, I got one too.
He probably took 4 photos that day.
And it was
They were
all with-
just
yeah.
with your friend group.
Yeah. Well, so the shitty part with me is I saw him as I was going up the escalator. I was like, no.
Leonardo
Oh,
DiCaprio.
Yeah. But it's funny because I'm up to date on most of the comics, and they appeared in one of the arcs 2 or 3 months ago in the main Star Wars line. There was a whole bunch of them on there, and I was like, "Holy shit, guys!"
It's a
That's
bit like it's
awesome.
something only for us.
If I ever come across that moving forward, I will let you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm now in the
You would make
I'm now in the
our
joke.
days. Yeah.
We call them the Sheev Squad.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like last year, and I don't know, we have this weird, like, we love referring to, especially in that group, we refer to Palpatine as
Sheev?
just a Sheev. And so,
Oh,
like,
sure.
Our
when
good
they were
buddy
like,
Sheev. Yeah.
an evening with the Emperor at Celebration 22, and we were like, I believe you mean a sit down with Sheev?
Yes.
That was
That's
such
a
good
missed
talk.
opportunity, that
Right?
name.
Right, that is exactly what Reed
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Down with you.
I did go to a sit down with Sheev, and it was actually excellent.
It was
because
good.
it was one of the many times during Celebration where somebody did an impersonation of George Lucas.
Yeah.
We were there, right? That was in
Yeah.
the main stage. Yeah,
the main
that
stage,
Did
was-
you guys also go to a sit down with Sheev?
We did.
did.
We were very
Nice.
close to the front too.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we were in the front row.
We were up on a balcony because
Oh, we were in the front row.
Wow, nice. Yeah, we got there a little bit late, so we were up in the balcony, but
Gotcha.
still good seats.
But it was like watching an opera, and
Yeah.
lean over, talk about tragedies of various former Sith.
As you do.
My favorite part was him saying, but not saying, he was going to be on the next upcoming show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I love that he just keeps popping up. And he's so good every time.
He always is, yeah.
The way he yells Ezra Bridger when he's like at the very end, when they're doing the World Between Worlds stuff, and he's just like, Ezra Bridger, like,
Yeah.
So good.
it freaks me. It's one of those things that just lives rent free in my head.
That whole scene
Remember
is
when
just so
Tim Curry
intense.
was the Emperor for a hot second?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, when was Tim Curry the Emperor?
During the Zillow Beast arc.
Yeah, late Clone Wars. Because I think the original voice actor passed away.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
Tim
like that.
Curry.
That's
So I don't remember
crazy.
what happened, but yeah, for like a brief portion of Clone Wars, Tim Curry is Chief Palpatine.
Oh my god.
So strange,
So
so
weird.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is in a roundabout way of getting there. Our experience at WonderCon.
Very Star Wars heavy, like usual.
I mean, you invite two Star Wars podcasts together. What are we going to talk about? Like,
Yeah.
Talked a little bit about Lord of the Rings.
I did see a Star Trek episode. The new Star Trek episode is very exciting.
Oh, yeah.
It started out like a Star Trek, like any Star Trek movie does, where it's like, where is everybody? Let's go find them all and bring the gang back together.
cool.
And it was really cool. I'm really interested where it's going, and there was like a new model of Data that showed up in the first episode, and he went by some other name, Hank. I don't know. I don't remember what his actual name was.
Oh.
But yeah, so there was Star Trek there too.
Yeah.
And that's my Star Trek portion for this episode. Now we've covered that.
Oh, you know what? I did play a bunch of Lorcana.
That's true.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Whoa.
I got some cards. I'm like, these are really cool. And then they were selling out everywhere. I'm like, well, I want more cards now. And then I had a couple friends that were playing too. Like, no, you have to get into it. It's super fun. So I did, but I just more collected the cards. But I'm like, I really want to play. And I played Magic and Dragon Ball Super and Pokemon and stuff. So I'm like, cool, no, I want to learn how to play this. And just haven't gotten around to it. And at WonderCon, they had, basically, you buy in for $30. They give you a deck and a deck box. And then you just
Sweet.
pop in and out and play as you want to during the whole weekend.
I
Oh,
always
yeah.
wondered
So
how those
cool.
tables
Yeah.
went.
Yeah. So it was
The
really cool.
game table section of WonderCon can be really fun.
Yeah. we
Like
made some
there's
friends over
miniatures painting over there. You can demo new games that haven't come out yet. If you're into tabletop games at all, like that's a good place to go. You can also, there were a few people over there who were doing 30-minute and 1-hour campaigns.
Oh, yeah, D&D
If you've
stuff.
never played, a D&D or Pathfinder kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of that
there.
going on.
Yeah, I played like 6 rounds of Lorcana, and yeah, it was really cool. And they taught me how to play, which was really nice. And if you won a game, you got 2 cards, and if you lost a game, you still get 1 card, which was really nice. And did that.
Okay.
I almost played Star Wars Unlimited. The new Star Wars TCG just came out last month. Mm-hmm. But people were kind of busy, and they're like, oh, like I would play, but I'm going to a panel right now. I'm like, oh, good. But those cards are really hard to find right now. So, but everybody says it's really fun. So, I'm
Did
excited.
they
to
explain
find
why those cards are so hard to find? Like, is it just a production issue?
Yeah, they basically just didn't print enough, and they didn't expect how big it was going to be.
Who didn't expect that?
Yeah, right. Like, okay, either game, Lorcana and Unlimited. So, but both games are apparently like really fun, and everybody's loving the Star Wars Unlimited game, which is really cool. And they've been announcing the new set that's coming out in July, I think. It's going to be Mandalorian focused. So,
Cool.
one deck's going to be Din Djarin, and the next one that's paired with it is Moff Gideon.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Very neat. What else did you guys do? Did you guys like find some other non-Star Warsy thing? He said, bobbing his head back and forth. Sorry, I started having fun watching it. It was like, this is all right.
I was doing that earlier. I was kicking my feet, and I was like, oh, I wonder what I look like right now. Let's see. Not Star Wars, which is a segment we have on our podcast.
Yeah.
And I still struggle with that one.
And we know it's happening every week. Okay, I will say that because the rain was there, and it just, as we already determined, there wasn't a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of nice when you needed downtime. You got it exactly where you wanted it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I spent a lot of time meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can think of. I watched the Marvel meetup. I was there for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Like over an hour.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, we saw the last bits of the Spider People meetup.
Yeah, and I saw the Marvel meetup where Wanda on stilts was walking around.
Yes.
She was so cool.
We were all in the same place at the same time, I think.
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah.
I think I saw her at the LA Comic Con too.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
This last one?
Yeah.
I didn't see her at that one.
Oh.
Yeah, my friend who's a really big Marvel person, I went with her to the Marvel meetup. And so I was taking photos of her and her with some of the friends that she made. So that was my non-Star Warsy accomplishment.
This was a really social con for me. This was by far, I spent more time running into people and catching up with people who I hadn't seen in a while. You never realize just how many people you start to just get to know at some of these booths. And some of them are people we work with. I know a couple of like the comic shop and those kinds of like Al and GoDaddy-O Comics and Steve's booth with Dave. And then during 2021, I want to say, when the shot was going around and everybody was getting vaccinated, I wound up way over in like Inglewood. For whatever reason, that was where the appointment was that I could get. And I was stood in front of a guy who did storyboards on Batman, and he has his own comic.
What?
He did Batman in the animated series, and I saw the blue non-photo blue pencil on like his sketchbook that he had in his hand, and I was like, "Sir, what do you do for a living?"
Who has that?
And I was like, "I know what that is." And so his wife was like, "Show him the stuff." And so he starts flipping through, and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, can I talk to you? Can I pick your brain a little bit?" So we kind of became friends, and then. So I ran into him and then artists that I've spoken to. And then I also picked a lot of brains. Like in Artist Alley, if I saw somebody who had an art technique that I wanted to know more about, I would just be like, hey, can I chat with you about your process for a little bit? And I did a lot of that. And then, you run into them the next day or the next day. And like a few indie comic writers that I tend to always buy from, like the guy Sebastian Jones, who does all the Niobe Stranger Comics booth. It's the big giant booth. One of the books was written by him, and what is her name? She's going to be in The Acolyte. She was Rue on Hunger Games.
Amandla Stenberg.
Yeah, Amandla Stenberg, I guess, was a big part of the creative process for one of those books. And so I stopped by there, and the writer and I always end up chatting, and so he gave me a poster and a free book, which was cool. Yeah. And then I signed up and joined his Kickstarter thing, and he signed a couple things, which was nice. He's such a nice guy. He's so charismatic, and I'm like, I just want to support you. Yeah. Like, and there were some people who I saw who I was like, oh, shoot, the guy who writes Canto, like he and I talked for 20 minutes last time. And there he goes. Yeah. David Boer, I think is his name. Yeah. But like we stopped and talked to Leilani.
Oh yeah.
And
Leilani was there.
We saw Juju.
Did you see Skip?
We ran into Skip. There was a lot of
Skip's
running
a good
into.
Buddy. He's a prop master. I met him while I was working on Mixed-ish, but he ended up becoming the second unit prop master on Obi-Wan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We
Good dude.
just
He's on Abbott
lost
Elementary
audio.
now, which is amazing.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, this would be a good time to, I think, wrap this bad boy up.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, it's great having you ladies on with us. We definitely need to do this again.
Thank you.
I agree.
And we'll
Absolutely.
actually do a High Republic podcast of both or one of ours and actually talk a whole thing of High Republic because we can do that, as you saw earlier.
I'm powering through the phase 2 relatively slowly, but I'm building up speed. It's moving.
There's a lot of books.
There's a lot, and
In
there's
phase
no
1,
rush.
yeah, in phase 1 there's a lot of comics.
Yeah. So, and we just found a list that actually breaks it down chapter by chapter, which I shouldn't do that because it's going to mean so much work for me, but it's my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's how
like,
Bryce works.
I watched
very
Clone
linear.
Wars in absolute chronological order. It was like, yep, we're in episode 5. Now we jump to season 3 because I want Heavy to be introduced at the right amount of time so that I can actually feel bad when he goes. Yeah. You know, things like that. Like I was reading A Fallen Star. No, it wasn't A Fallen Star. It was Midnight Horizon. And I got to the point where the beacon was going down.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, nope, I'm jumping to the comics. And so I read through all the beacon going down in the comics, and then I went and I finished Fallen Star. Yeah. Because for me, if there's a major event that's happening, going right back to like 40 minutes before it happens is so jarring, and I'd rather just go back and be like, yeah, let's just do this right now. Plus, I needed a break. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved Wreath and Ram Jamaram's like weird teenage bromance that they've got going on. I adore them so much, and Ram has gone through such a interesting journey. But yeah, now that I've seen this list of phase 2, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I found it on Reddit this morning.
Maybe
like, dude, look at this.
I do need to take a break. I need you to like copy paste that and delete all the parenthesis in it.
Yeah,
so that I can do it without any spoilers.
There's only one spoiler on there.
There's a couple that like I could figure it out if I see the name of it. I'm gonna know what's happening. Like, oh, here's a big debacle, and I'm like, okay, well, if I know there's a debacle, then I know this isn't gonna go right. Like, you know, let that go.
Oh, just told me batteries though.
Oh well, good for you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you have some time left.
Right. Okay.
I'm just wondering, can he hear us?
So yeah, let's.
No.
Nope. Frankie just asked if you could hear them.
No.
That's my favorite part about this whole thing.
Is
we're just engaging as if you can. That's okay.
Okay, I got enough time. Let's power through this before this thing dies again. Okay, so that I think concludes our WonderCon recap / Star Wars Celebration London recap / Star Wars Celebration 22.
We did do a celebration recap.
Let's get to know each other recap.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best part of this con was the social aspect for me. Like I realized midway through, I was like, I'm getting frustrated because the con's not becoming what I was hoping it would be, and I was like, I need to just go with that flow. Like, what is this con really this weekend? And it very much became clear that this was, let's meet new people, let's expand, let's actually meet some of these people we know on the internet, let's go approach random people and ask them if this is a picture of them. And
I've done it before.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it became such a highlight. And then of course, meeting you guys and that whole table at the end of Saturday, I was like, you know what? It honestly, I was so tired by the end of Saturday that I really was like, oh man, tomorrow I'm going to roll in there late. And I was so re-energized by our little meeting. So thank you so much for being cool cats, especially Meow, especially Sandy, who, as she wandered around. But there was something really cool about that whole space anyway this year. You know, I somebody made like a full functioning Clank from Ratchet and Clank that was just like this little robot sitting on their table, and I'm like, what the hell? Like the creativity in some of the people, and there was so much cosplay happening. And I think because of the rain, a lot of the cosplay, which is normally outside, had to be reintegrated to the rest of the con in a way that it sometimes doesn't. Yeah, which I really liked. So it was just there was very much a, trust me, you're among your people going on in that building. And
definitely.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
So
I thoroughly enjoyed WonderCon this year. Definitely for meeting you guys and meeting other people. And I agree about having the rain bring everybody inside and also kind of like congregating people all into one space more. So that there's so many times where I've heard someone say that they were at WonderCon, but I just never saw them. And I think it's because WonderCon has so much space. It's outdoors, indoors, multiple floors. So it was nice having it all kind of more immersive.
Yeah. And sometimes you run into people and you're like I ran into one guy and I was like, dude, I love your cosplay, both of you guys. And then later I heard him speak and I went, Q, I know you. We've hung out at the shop, and like he's a regular at the comic shop. I just didn't recognize him because he was in cosplay, and I'm like, sorry, I didn't realize you were also invincible. Like,
Oh my gosh.
but like I sat there, I walked right past him, and I was like, dude, you look great, both of you guys, excellent, and I kept on walking, and then later I was like, we already talked, but hi, we have actually hung out for like an hour once. Just shooting the breeze at the comic shop, hanging out with Funky.
Oh, that's awesome.
But like it's really easy to miss people at the cons usually, and I think because of how much the worlds were all forced together and everyone was out of the rain. It was pouring on Saturday.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So there were some really cool in the rain cosplay shots that took place at that fountain.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of them.
But the majority of the cosplay did come inside. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. Solid con all around
reason
still.
for me to come home to SoCal.
Yeah.
Yeah, come home to sunny Southern California where it's pouring rain and everyone's gone for Easter.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because our good friend Tate flew in from Texas, and he hasn't been in California for a couple of years. And of course, the weekend he came in,
It's
it's
pouring
all
rain.
yeah.
We're like,
Aw.
Tate, you've got to come to WonderCon. It's such a different vibe from Comic-Con because we go to Comic-Con with Tate usually.
Yeah.
Or at least we used to when
yeah.
he lived in California. And so we're like, you got to come to WonderCon this year. So we like make him, he gets a ticket. He's getting ready to fly out. And then 2 weeks before we're like, oh my God, it's Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Oops.
And then it's like, oh, it's gonna rain the whole time.
Oh, it's going to be raining.
Oh man.
Oh, Tate, this is such a weird WonderCon to start you on. But,
But he
okay.
still had a great time.
But yeah, he had a great time.
Oh,
He saw a bunch of
good.
really
yeah.
cool things.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for having us, and thank you for
Of course.
being so
Yeah.
kind and friendly online and in person. It's been a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Same with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. This has been so wonderful.
Yeah.
Haha,
As our
WonderCon,
friend-
wonderful.
Heyo.
As our friend Reed put it really early on in our podcast,
We quote it all the time. 'cause
We
it's
quote it all
so
the
good.
time. Being at a convention is like being in a giant room filled with thousands of potential new best friends.
It's true.
And especially when you can link up on something as niche as the High Republic,
Yeah.
we were like, yes.
Our people.
So we were just so excited. I mean, and the best part is we were like, oh, cool, our people. And then at the end of the conversation, you're like, oh, and by the way,
Yeah. Yeah. This is
we
even
have a
before-
podcast, and it's a Star Wars podcast, and it's High Republic, and we love Dathomir.
Yeah.
Like,
Mine's
it was
blowing.
like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
and we save birds and swim with fish.
Yeah.
There are no lies.
Yeah.
All right, where can we find you? Where can we see
listen
you
to
on
you?
the internet and see you and hear your wonderful insights to the High Republic?
Yeah, so you can find us on TikTok at the Bitches of Dathomir podcast.
And Instagram, Bitches of Dathomir Podcast, as well as any and all major podcast streaming platforms.
Nice.
Bitches of Dathomir. We are on our second season and having fun.
Nice.
yeah.
Are you guys working through phase 2 right now?
We
Phase
are on
3.
phase 3.
You've jumped into phase 3 already? Okay. I'm starting
spent-
at the beginning.
Our most recent episodes have been on the Tales of Light and Life, so it's kind of the in-between. So
Right.
very soon we're going to be starting on in the thick of phase 3. So we're
Yeah.
excited.
Nice.
That's gonna be cool. Yeah, I dig how you guys broke
Yeah.
up these last episodes with like just one short story at a time.
We talk.
Thank you.
We talk so much, and it's so hard because we love it.
Same.
And we
That's-
think
yeah.
about not.
Uh-huh.
We think about like compiling, but then we're like, no, we're here to like really jump in and dive into
Yeah,
these
you might as well.
characters and conversations.
We finally started doing our spoiler full episode of Wave 1, Phase 1.
Our one episode. It's not one anymore.
It's not 1 anymore.
Yeah.
It's
We
not
know
1
that.
anymore. We got through 2 books and we're like,
We still got a third book and
We still
all
have the third book
comics.
and the rest of the comics.
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
It's so hard. Yeah, our High Republic Phase 1 megasode was a mouthful.
Yeah.
And the way we prepared for that was just so nightmarish. I don't wish that upon anybody.
Yeah.
So breaking it down and doing one at a time is so much better for us, and I'm sure for people listening.
But that episode turned out great. Like, that was my listening on my drive to and from Arizona.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
megasode?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
You guys were with them all the way to Arizona. Good work.
Yeah, thanks.
Aw,
Oh, yay.
I don't even. That was so long ago. That was before we had any
I know.
podcast equipment. We did that on a phone in our kitchen.
Nice.
Yeah, we know how that goes.
We know how that goes. There was a time.
Yeah, good times.
So be sure to follow them on wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just type in the Bitches of Dathomir, and then go find them on Instagram and go find them on the TikToks. And are you guys on Threads?
Yeah.
You guys should make the jump to Threads. Threads has been really, really great.
No, we are. I have my account has like a number. It's in like the less than 1 million account made. I have just never gone on it since the hour that Threads was announced.
Right.
Oh wow,
My
you were
bad.
ground
I
floor
was.
and then walked out.
Yeah.
I think I just said I love Star Wars. Bye.
Yeah.
I should look at that.
It's become like a really interesting community because so many people are there. Like they refer to the other short form text platform as the other place.
Oh my
Good.
God, yes.
And like people just aren't mentioning it. Like, yeah, back before I left the other place. But like the other day, Kevin Scott was like, I really am glad I'm over on Threads, but I kind of miss my Twitter community. And then Christina Ariel got on there and was like, High Republic fans, assemble! And
Yeah.
like all these people started flying to Kevin
Really?
Scott's Threads.
She's the
and
best.
We
I
adore her.
love that.
June or July 5th, 2023. Hello.
Yeah, because there was a moment on our podcast where we would ask Frankie about Threads.
And I was like, oh yeah, we have
Like,
one.
how's it going? Yeah.
It's totally there.
Okay, I'll get back on it.
Yay.
Hooray!
Yeah.
I guess that means I will too at some point on my personal.
This week, Threads has
I
been
started,
the
yeah.
X-Men 97 support group because X-Men 97 was real rough this week.
Oh, I need to catch
But
up.
I wager
was
after
amazing,
this week's
but-
Bad Batch, it'll just switch right back over to that, and everybody will be like, "Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
you
not
need to
okay."
catch up, by the way.
I know. I'm only like 2 behind, which is way better than I was. So
Yeah.
Okay.
this is I will let you know as soon as I am. We'll just all panic together.
Great.
Okay, well, Sneaky Geek is available everywhere you listen to the Bitches of Dathomir, and it's available for talking to, etc., on Threads and on Instagram at Sneaky Geek Podcast. And of course, you can always listen to our other podcast, the Starlight Archive Podcast. And if that's not enough High Republic information for you, then definitely go over and check the Bitches of Dathomir out because they've been doing it a lot longer than we have. And with that, I think that's everything we need for this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Brian.
Thank you so much, Bryce.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dilophosaurus picture behind him. Sneaky Geek is hosted by Bryce Rankins and Brian Romero. This episode was edited by Bryce Rankins. Our logo and website were designed by Allie Nimmons. Our theme song was written and produced by Skylar Johnson. Join the conversation on Sneaky Geek Discord. Find us at our Twitch or on our Instagram at Sneaky Geek Podcast. Copyright 2024, Sneaky Geek Media, all rights reserved.